Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Equality, Diversity, Inclusion, Diverse Heritage Network. And it's presented by me, Norma Gregory. I'm a historian and a writer and passionate about all things heritage, and particularly mining heritage. That's my kind of forte and area of research that I've been conducting for over 10 years now. I've worked in education and heritage sector for almost 30 years, so a key expert now and wanting to share my knowledge and passion with you to get you involved and learning more about your local history and heritage and industrial heritage that is all around you. So this is the third of five forums that I'm hosting. It's a network forum for diverse industrial heritage enthusiasts, diverse heritage professionals, and organizations passionate about diversity in general. We are in partnership with the Arts Funding and Philanthropy Network programs, and we are so honored that they are supporting us along with the many other project partners and individuals that have helped us along our journey over the years. All of this content as well will be available on our YouTube channel, on the Black Miners YouTube channel, so you can catch up with everything that was shared today and also have access to the presentations as well. So the aim of the Diverse Industrial Heritage Network Forum is to create a space where people that have no knowledge of history or local history or industrial heritage, is a space where we can all talk and share our experiences, lived experiences, and also some of the hopes and goals that we have for the future. I want to share with you some of my own knowledge and experience over the years, and some of the issues and challenges that I've also faced as a consultant. I now work as a consultant with many museums in the UK and overseas as well. So if you're looking for ideas or to partner upon a project that involves preserving our history, particularly industrial heritage, please just contact Nottingham News Centre or the Black Miners .com website. So just to recap, we've done two sessions already. The first session was introducing my listeners to history and to heritage itself, being something that is cared for and passed down across the generations. It's the stories and the places and the monuments that are part of the human story, the human narrative. So that's what history is to me, and we all really have a big part to play in preserving history. However, one of the most important things that we need to be aware of is the Equality Act 2010, the UK law that explains the 9 protected characteristics that people, every single person, is linked to at least one of these, and they are age, disability, gender reassignment, marriage, civil partnerships, pregnancy and maternity, including paternity, race, that's regarding colour, ethnic or national background, religion or belief, including non-belief, sex and sexual orientation. They are the 9 protected characteristics in the UK, where many people are often discriminated against or experience unfair treatment. So those are the areas where we do have to be, it's law that we must support everybody and make sure that we are aware of the differences and kind of challenges some people face, and that we all address those to make the world a better place. So the Equality Act 2010 is what we are working towards and under. So just to recap on the days left of the series of network forums, we've conducted 2 already. This is the 3rd one today. Tomorrow, the 8th of December 2022, is the 4th of this series, and Friday, the 16th of December at 10 o'clock, we will be starting. So please feel free to register for any of these events on Eventbrite. at Nottingham News Centre. If you go onto Nottingham News Centre, you'll see these events. So please just register and you're very welcome to join. We will be also having our next series of workshops and discussions in 2023 in spring. So I will let you know about those dates. So today's session, just to recap, is all about the services and products you might develop and sell or promote. So the first 2 days, I introduced you to industrial heritage and what that meant, and being a person that's working in the heritage sector and how that can be. The second workshop, we looked at finding work and how you can kind of find work as a consultant or working in a museum or heritage site, how you go about that, and how you can get paid if you are a freelancer, because that's very important. We've all got to cover our cost of living, and you do deserve to be paid. So try to forget about voluntary work unless you want to do voluntary work, but you are entitled to pay for the services and skills and knowledge that you bring. So really be aware of that. So today is building on this knowledge and now talking about some of the services, some of the things that you can be doing to get paid, and some of the products. I'm talking about items, artifacts, memorabilia, merchandise. So those are products. Projects are, to me, I kind of distinguish the two, services and products. So products are kind of physical things. Often there are many kind of different types of physical items I call products, and services are more to do with actions and often dialogues involved, so a bit more there's tangible and intangible. Okay, so that's just my way of differentiating between the offers that you can offer the public and the world and industrial heritage museums and sites and so forth. So those are the things we're going to be talking about today, and how to develop those skills. So what skills you might need if you are working in industrial heritage and or as a heritage practitioner, and how you can develop your own learning, how you can perhaps learn on the job, and how to learn. So for me, learning is being able to reflect and think about the process you have taken to get to success, whatever that success might be. We will talk about success on another episode, what constitutes as success. So so today we are specifically talking about services and products and skills. So we're more talking about the things that you're going to do, the processes you're going to do to help within the heritage sector, industry, workforce, and how you can bring about the best for yourself and also to help the sector as well. So let's just start off and think about developing skills. So what are skills? So skills are things that you can do, things that you enjoy. So they can be writing, you might be good at speaking, you might be good at working with other people, you might be good at writing, you might enjoy organizing events. So there's many different things that constitute as a skill. Skills can be natural. I think there's some people who are naturally talented at things, but often they have learned and practiced over many years, and often some skills you don't even realize you have those until somebody tells you you're brilliant at something. But you shouldn't need somebody to tell you you're brilliant. You are brilliant, but you just need to show that if you want to. Okay, so my kind of tip is just making sure, be confident in who you are and the skills that you have, because you do have a lot of skills. You might not have thought they are a skill, but they really are, and they are very useful, and you can get paid lots of money if you're really good at what you do and what you know. So think about the skills that you have. Think about the knowledge. So knowledge is now information that can be learnt, and I think knowledge should be passed on. I don't think knowledge is about keeping it all to yourself. There is times, you know, where you might keep things private, but where you can, if you think about knowledge as a helping tool, it's there to help yourself and to help other people to develop or progress in whatever they choose to do on their life journey. So the knowledge, your knowledge can be developed over time. That might mean self-development, i.e. you might read up about something that you're really interested in. You might visit a place or places that you're really interested in to learn more. You might talk to different people from all different cultures in order to get a varied multicultural perspective on a topic, something that you're interested in. So there's always ways of learning, okay? It might be through formal education. So in that sense, I mean returning to college or returning to university, returning to an evening class that you've always thought about doing in order to develop your knowledge. So there are ways that you can learn, and you can learn anything you want to learn. Don't ever think that your age stops you learning. Okay, because I always think there's always space. Your brain is big enough to take new information. So have a go. So I'm just saying, have a go. So think about ways to develop your knowledge as a heritage practitioner, particularly around diversity. So if you're thinking that you may need to work with different groups that you've never worked with, perhaps doing some work at a local charity or with a disability group, say, or joining a forum on social media or online, just so you can talk more to people on a particular area or topic that you need to develop in order to develop a skill, okay, and your knowledge. So think differently. There's so much out there now. There's literally so much information. It's almost information overload sometimes, but be selective in what you take in and why you're taking that information in. Think about what you'll gain from it and what other people will gain from the knowledge as well. So be strategic, you know, have a little plan. Don't take on too much. If you're feeling tired or need a rest, take a rest, yeah, but come back to it at another stage, or develop it, or talk to somebody about a way forward. Also think about the feedback and the what people say about your skills and what you offer the world. Yes, do take it with a pinch of salt, some of it, because it might not always be really happy. But learn from it. Just think about that person's perspective, what they've seen, or perhaps what they didn't see. They may not have seen all of what you explained or all of what you had on offer, or a product that they've perhaps bought from you and it hasn't worked properly. Think about that. Think about why the product didn't work, or why that customer or client had a few questions to ask, because they are allowed to ask those questions. Yes, because it is all about customer satisfaction at the end of the day. When people come to a museum or heritage site, industrial heritage site, they actually want to learn something, see something, meet new people. They want to have an experience. Yeah, so think about that people's experience does matter. Yeah, how they are experiencing things. And if things go wrong, just admit it and try and sort it out. Try and make a change and follow the law, and try to put things right as quickly as possible, because negative feedback can have massive consequences. Okay, so think about putting things right as quickly as possible. So thinking about the types of skills and experiences that you might need in working in industrial heritage and the heritage sector in general, I think, having worked in this area for almost 30 years, I think people are the center of everything that we do, everything within the heritage sector and industrial heritage sector. So I'm talking about, there's a lot of interaction that's needed. It might be through consultancy or meetings that you might have with other individuals or the public. It might be through working together, getting skills to manage a project. So often within industrial heritage, you may be working on a particular project for a certain amount of time. So having good time management skills is going to be a skill you got to think about. So it might mean getting a watch. I've got my watch here, just watching the time, because time is important. And it might mean being very organized, obviously getting software that you might need to kind of organize your administration skills. I think to develop skills in management is always thinking about the future. You've got to plan ahead. So those are some of the skills that you might need if you venture into project management in industrial heritage. Another skill that you might need is actual content management skills. So these might be around object preservation or conservation. You will need skills, you will need to study, because they might be, more specialist skills that you will need to develop. And also talking to other specialists. So it might mean talking to archivists, to librarians, to conservationists, actual working conservationists, and other heritage practitioners. So that's, again, back to those people skills. You will be meeting other people, talking to other people and sharing knowledge. It's a fantastic sector to work in, the heritage sector. It's very friendly, it's very caring, it's very professional, and you actually learn a lot. You learn a lot about so many different things. And you get to travel as well, which is superb. Another skill that you might need within industrial heritage is research skills, i.e. Being able to focus on a particular topic or theme and look into that in detail. So that's research. It might be talking about some of the research that you come across. So you might be doing presentations, talks online, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. You might be doing talks at universities, colleges, schools, to community groups. So think big, think and realize that your knowledge that you do have is specialist and it's interesting as well. So make sure that people hear about it. Don't just keep that brilliant knowledge and research information that you've gathered, the data that you've gathered. Think about sharing it, okay? Think about sharing it, but the first thing is do your research and market research as well. So think about the audiences that you're going to go to share your knowledge that you have gathered. They may be in the UK, they may be overseas. So think about who are the people, who are the organizations or the audience that you need to speak to or get in contact with, or make a relationship, start forming a network with. So think about that. That is market research. Another skill that you might have is broadcasting skills. So, I mean, today I'm actually talking to you through digital technology online. Think about that, because it's a good skill to have. Journalism training, being able to write articles, to speak to other people, doing interviews, doing oral history interviews, knowing how to edit film, edit video. That's an important skill you might need in the industrial heritage sector, because you may do some filming. Sometimes it can be a little bit pricey to get an editor, but try to get one, a professional editor, if you can. But if you can't, if you're just starting out, you may want to edit footage that you've captured yourself, or edit audio that you have recorded. So those are skills that you might want to think about developing as well. Okay. Also learning how to use social media, setting up Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and so forth, setting up an account and putting a content on your account, sharing that with the world as well, because it also shows your expertise. It shows that you're interested in people, and you're willing to share as well. So it's a really nice way of developing new professional partnerships and finding work as well. And the final way, just today, the final way of the final kind of area that I want you to think about developing your skills is to be able to do training, to do provide training for people who want to learn. So that might be for organizations, might call you in to help with their staff training, say. It might be doing something for a celebratory event. It might be hosting a ceremony. You might be asked to be a curator at an art gallery, but talking about whatever, talking about art or whatever to do with heritage and history. So it's really wide and varied training, and it crosses over into many different areas. And it's just a fabulous way of meeting people and learning from others and sharing your knowledge as well. So those are just some of the skills and ways in that you can share your knowledge once you decide you want to work in the heritage sector, and within, say, industrial heritage, because my work has been around preserving coal mining history. So a lot of these skills I've used over the years in order to help preserve that important part of in Britain's industrial past. I am a consultant. I do projects. I work preserving content in the Black Miners Museum. I conduct research all the time, reading other scholars' work around mining history. I help make broadcasting. I've worked with television, BBC, Channel 4 to make programs talking about history and provide training as well. So those are many skills that I use on a daily, weekly basis. So they are just some of the skills, but they are not all of them. So there may be others that you do, or other skills that you may need to develop. So think about those and just go for it. So some of the services now, so we've talked about some of the skills that may be required within industrial heritage, within finding work and working within the heritage sector, particularly industrial heritage. That's my passion, industrial history. So some of the services now that you may decide to offer, if you work as a freelancer or if you're working within a company or organization or museum. These are just examples of some of the skills and services, again, that you might develop in your organization. These services can be paid. Obviously, you will want to help bring in income to ensure resilience, financial resilience and survival of your company, or if you're working as a freelancer, self-employed, to bring in income that will pay for your online accessibility and other things that you need to do to work online and in physical spaces as well. So these are some of the examples of services such as consultancy, heritage management and preservation, archiving, research and planning, market research work, project management, audience engagement work. So that might be working, helping with visitors, getting visitors into attractions or museums. You might work on that side. And again, presentations and talks. So those are some of the services that you should be charging for where possible, because you do need to be paid for your knowledge and skills. You are worth it. Your organization is worth it. So do think about those services and think about other services that people might say that they actually want. So that might be asking, say, for instance, conduct a survey, find out what people think and what people need and what people would like to see in the future. And if many people say they would like a particular service or product, think about developing that, doing it, because that's what people want. So you do have to think about what people want, and that's the market research side. What is it that people are saying that they want? People want, for me, the market research I have seen is people want to see more equality in the workspace. They want to see more creativity, and so forth. So think about those things and act on them, because they are actual what people need to be happy and to reach their full potential, I would say. Okay, so think about your offer, your products and your services, and why you want to do those, and think about ones for the future as well that may need time to develop and mature. So I always leave this slide just for you to think about some practical ideas that may be buzzing around your head right now, and think about strategies and ways of moving forward, perhaps in your own organization or your own business or your own enterprise that you might be running, or your own freelance work, and think about things that you're going to try. That's the most important thing, the action. So just to conclude, so we have covered 3 sessions now, and the next session we're going to be looking at partnership work, how to work in a partnership, what is your role in a partnership, how are you going to work with other people and other organizations, what are some of the skills and knowledge required in order to ensure that collaborative kind of process has good outcomes, and also starts off well as well. You know, how do you find your partner or several partners to work with? What is it you need to put in place to make sure that your partnership is successful, and the aims and the outcomes and objectives of that partnership comes to fruition, your plans, your activities come to life, and that there is success at the end. So that's going to be the next session in this series of workshops around diversity and industrial heritage, the heritage sector in general. If you want to find out a little bit more, please visit our website at nottinghamnewscentre.com and blackcoalmanners.com if you want to see a case study of good practice that we've been able to do over the last 10 years. And please feel free to visit some of the other organisations who are doing outstanding work around the country, in the UK, and probably overseas as well. And finally, if you want to stay in touch, there is our email right here, norma@nottinghamnewscentre.com. If you have any questions or want any support or any project that you feel you want to work in partnership with us, please feel free to get in touch with us. So have a fantastic day, and enjoy, and see you next time.